Thanks for tuning in to an unusual episode of Peace, Love, and Guns. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Mercy Less Lethal extension for the Byrna HD magazine. I'm going to show you how to install that today. You do have to permanently modify your magazine in a couple small ways, and we're going to show you how to do it. So let's get right into it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into installing this extension on the Byrna HD magazine. Here we have the Mercy Less Lethal extension. It is a 3D printed nylon part. It feels pretty good in the hand, feels reasonably hard, and we're gonna get right into it. So first thing we need to do is we need to remove the base plate off of the magazine. This is a very similar process if you've ever taken one off of a Glock or any sort of magazine on a firearm. So you've got little detent buttons right here, and we are just gonna push that in with a pokey device, and we can slide that off. This is under spring tension and it will come out. So here we have a spring, there is your detent, and here we have our follower. Now this does require permanent modification of the magazine to a small degree. We have to remove this nub on the follower. That is an over travel stop for this magazine. If we take off the over travel stop, then that might not be super friendly, but apparently it does not impact the ability of the magazine. So we will see that. We're going to take that off the spring. We do need to take this nubbin off. I'm going to elect to do that with a Spyderco Delica, and we're just going to very carefully shave that off. Remember to always cut towards your chum and not your thumb. Here I am cutting towards my thumb. Do as I say, not as I do. We have very controlled cuts. This feels like some sort of glass reinforced nylon right here.
Yeah, I can hear it.
You can hear the glass cutting. Yeah. Spyderco Delica, thank you for your service. All right, put this on. I'm gonna wrap the spring back around it. And I don't want that shooting off into the nethers, so I'm going to recommend perhaps a drop of the...
Unscrew the white lid and then puncture the seal, I believe, with the...
It punctures automatically.
Yeah,
I know how to do super glue. Thank you, though. Thank you. So...
a little bit. And you're best off lining the edge with a bead and then pressing.
Yeah. So... I am concerned that perhaps this might go shooting off into the nethers if we encounter that situation where you press on the detent and all the balls shoot out. I don't want the follower also to shoot out and then have a magazine that doesn't work. So we are going to super glue the follower to the magazine spring so that we don't have that problem. Will it work? I don't know. We're just going to apply a bead to this. Less is more, but more is plenty, as I've heard it said before. You really don't need a whole lot with super glue. But we're going to do a nice little bead around the whole edge. And embiggen this hole a little bit, spinning this. Alright, and that's on. And we're going to give that some time to chooch. We don't need this follower anymore, but you will need a key to take off the front of your CO2 cap. Now it's just a simple matter of putting this back in when it's dry and going from there. Make sure that it's not got any wetness to it. We're going to slide that back into the magazine and then slide this guy over it. All right, so now as you can see, the over travel has been removed, so this does come up further than it did before. If you really, it seems like if you really press that down, you can get that to launch out. All right, so how are we supposed to lock this down? the installation as shown by Mercy Less Lethal is to slide this on and to feed this down into your follower, and that's done. Ours, however, is not tight enough to retain as shown in that how-to video. I'll show you here. So what we're going to do, as with the follower, where we have super glued the follower to the spring, which seems like it's holding pretty well, we are going to put some super glue on the inside. Since this is a permanent modification, having to have cut off that nubbin, we are going to commit and put some super glue on the inside there and hold that like so.
Feel it, yeah. Get a good bead going. This is welding 101, guys. Oh, yeah.
Less is more, but more is plenty. All right, and we're just going to go swoop. Nylon should be able to take super glue just fine. And we're going to let that chooch for a little bit. All right, so now we're just going to feed the spring into the magazine. And I did put a little bit extra tension on the spring just for giggles, and there we go. If we press down on this hard enough, we can get that to spring out, but in actual practice that shouldn't be too big of a deal. And we did, of course, super glue the bottom so that it's got a nice permanent fit. So let's go shoot this bad boy. And that looks like a Robocop gun. Okay, so here's just a simple comparison of the Byrna HD magazine. It is a 5-round magazine versus the Byrna HD magazine modified with the Mercy Less Lethal extension. 5 rounds versus 7 rounds. You do pay for the extra 2 rounds with a little bit extra length, obviously. And there's the obligatory ball that falls out, which is consistent with how Byrnas are. And you're still going to have that same issue of if you tap this during a speed reload, you're going to launch a lot of balls. So it doesn't fix that problem, but it's not meant to. Here's the difference in quality, and you may already be able to see it from there, but these are nylon balls that we got from Amazon, and they are absolutely smooth. This was 100 rounds for around $30. I don't know the brand, but perfectly smooth by my eyes and by my hands. This one, you can feel, without even looking at it, you can feel the hemisphere. This is how all the Byrna rounds come. And they say it voids your warranty if you use non-Byrna ammo, and they say that the gun is not guaranteed to work without Byrna ammo. I wager that this makes the gun slightly less accurate, possibly can cause a jam. The quality control is just very bad. So you can see the point at which they injection molded this and where the mold lines mate. So not great quality there, Byrna. You can see that on all of them, each of the balls has a little nipple where the injection molding machine injected that material into a small mold, and you can see where those 2 mold pieces fit together, compared to the nylon rounds, which are no doubt cheaper and no doubt higher quality. I can't feel a difference in weight, but I imagine that they're similar. And this is a 8-ounce CO2 cartridge versus a 12-ounce CO2 cartridge. So you'll get more shots, potentially be able to have this loaded longer with
more volume, so more shots per fill, possibly. And maybe it might translate to higher velocities, maybe, but probably not. It'll probably more equate to more shots per fill during a firing session.
And more consistency during cold weather, probably.
Fair enough.
So that's that. So let's go ahead and shoot it.